Well, the world of Formula One never fails to deliver. The rumour mill swirling. Lance Stroll, wrist injury. Is it legit, or is his time at Aston Martin coming to an end? I reckon we have a deep dive. G, legit, or just typical F1 rumours?
That's a hard one, right? Because we had the rumors. Well, first of all, he missed the Grand Prix, so clearly there is an issue there. We do know that he had the injury back in 2023 where he fell off his bike, and he actually did a great job with the recovery, and he was back in the car pretty quickly, of course. It's a hard one because the rumor mill just heats up, especially when we don't have a race this weekend. So the script writers need to come up with some type of clickbait, or to keep fans interested. So here we are, Lance Stroll. Um, I don't know because one of the head mechanics came out and denied the rumors of the actual meltdown in the garage, because obviously the rumors were that he had a lot to say. He was pretty probably punched a wall or whatever. I don't know, but I mean, at the end of the day, someone needs to drive that car, right? So there's an opportunity there for another driver should Lance not be ready in time.
Yeah. So when you look at it from that position, look, Aston Martin have come out and said their plan is for Lance to be in the car. I think he was having the procedure pretty much straight away. So the plan was to get him in the car for Canada. And then obviously, if that doesn't work out, then plan B is, yeah, they try and get one of the reserves. I think Stoffel Van Dorn, Drugovich, I think Jack Crawford's on the books as well. And there's also been talk of Valtteri Bottas. But I mean, man, like you said, F1 rumour mill, like people are saying this could be an easy way out for Lawrence and both Lance. There's already been talk. Lawrence has wanted to sell his stake in the team so he can throw more money at the road car side of things for him. And then you also look at WEC, right? They've got the Valkyrie project now, Aston Martin there. So, you know, Lance could quite easily just slip straight into one of those teams and disappear into the ether. Look, they said he was driving with the wrist injury for the last 6 weeks. He very well could have been, right? We just, we don't know. And as far as the blow up, I'm not really sure like it was a blow up at the team as such. I think he was more just frustrated with the performance and then frustrated with having the injury. And then, like you said, one of the lead mechanics came out with a post on Instagram saying, no, he didn't swear or anything at any team members at all. So F1 rumor mill, baby. This is what we live for, right?
Yeah, makes good content, right? Yeah, tricky one. Look, the thing is, I think people underestimate a wrist injury as well.
Yeah,
I know from my own personal experience. I mean, okay, look, it's a bit of an apple oranges comparison here, but I
driving a go
remember when
kart's a bit different.
the sim rig, struggling the sim rig,
Yeah,
can't hit the curbs. All right.
yeah,
Um, like I broke my wrist many years ago, and it took. And look, I didn't even have a surgery, but it took about 2 years for me to like be back to 100%.
yeah.
There was just in certain situations I'd get sort of pain. So it's not it's not beyond the realms of possibility that, yeah, like, okay, this injury happened in 2023. It still bugs him today. Like, we don't know if he was taking painkillers, to get over the pain, etc. Um, I mean, you got to look at it and go, hey, look, at the time he outscored Fernando Alonso 14 points to nil on a bung wrist. I mean, look at it from that aspect, it's not a bad job there, Lance. But yeah, look, I think most likely what has happened is probably, like you said, he's probably has got out of the car, probably has been a bit agitated, and then someone's probably seen it and then turned it into a bigger story than what it really is. I mean, it's pretty common to see a driver, pretty pissed off after a bad session, and if he is like struggling with a wrist injury, agitation is going to be on the next level. But like you said, if there is some internal debacle there, or if the rumors are true that Stroll Senior wants out, because there's obviously been a lot of rumor around Saudi Arabia coming in and buying up a big stake, and then alongside that, the rumors of a big contract offer for Max Verstappen, then obviously where does that leave Stroll? So this could be like a softening blow PR type stunt where he just, sidesteps into the WEC program. Again, like I always say, we just have to let time play out on this one. But what I'm really interested in is, regardless, if he can't make the Canadian Grand Prix, which is just over a week away now, there are a few options, like you mentioned. You mentioned Jack Crawford, Felipe Drugovich. We've got Stoffel Van Dorn. And you threw out a name, Valtteri Bottas. Why? Just explain why that is actually a possibility.
Probably very unlikely that he would step into that role. But in the past, Mercedes have lent their reserve drivers to customer teams. Yeah, I think Valtteri's name is just.
He's an outside chance.
Yeah, it's because of the Mercedes tie-up, right? And then
Yeah.
Mercedes being known to lend their reserve drivers to customer teams. You mentioned Jack Crawford, the young development driver. I think he's in F2 at the moment.
Yeah.
So
has he got enough super license points?
Well, this is the thing, right? It's believed that he doesn't have enough yet. So, I mean, that would rule him out. You got Van Dorn. Now, Van Dorn's, he's got plenty of F1 experience, 41 odd races.
His last race was what, 2018? So it's been a little while. So he hasn't really got any experience, you could say, with the ground effect cars, right?
Yeah, exactly. With this new regs. But I mean, he's probably done time in the simulator.
Yep.
So you could imagine if he got in, he'd be able to do a half decent job. The only issue with that is he is signed with Peugeot in their WEC hypercar program. So it would probably be unlikely for him to be able to step back and jump into the F1 car for the Canadian Grand Prix due to the clash with Le Mans. Now, Drugovich is the most likely option. Now, he has already said that he would be willing to step away from his commitments in Le Mans. I think he was only signed as a guest driver, whatever that means. I'm not 100% sure. But he said he would be willing to step in if needed. So you would say if Lance Stroll doesn't make it back by Canada, which I would probably say would be likely, because in that way it gives him that extra little bit of time to recover from the injury, right?
We've been told it's an actual surgery, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you would expect...
Although, when you think about it, the last injury in 2023, he was back in the car in 2 weeks.
Super quick.
2 weeks, right? And they say 6 to 8 weeks is generally the recovery time for an injury like that.
Yeah, I know, obviously his surgeon is one of the go-to surgeons from particularly a lot of the MotoGP riders see this guy because naturally they get a shit ton of wrist injuries. So he's obviously the best in the business, and he's obviously proved it with Lance coming back so quick. So, yeah, I mean, it's a possibility he is back, but I don't know, man.
Look, what are they? They're I think, 9th in the constructors, so they're down the bottom. You could basically say there's probably not... Yes, we've talked about car improvements that they've made, but I don't... it doesn't matter if he's not in the car. I think he's going to come back. I don't think his Formula One career is over, but we're just going off the rumors that have been swirling around. And people, like you said, like to make headlines. So I would say he's going to miss Canada and likely to be back by Austria.
Drugovich makes sense. I mean, he's also stepped in and completed in a few practice sessions.
Yeah.
Even this year, I think his last... he stepped in at Bahrain, I think it was, into FP1.
Yep.
And he's had some good moments when he stepped in too, because I remember there was a time when he stepped in for Stroll and he even, I think it was, pretty sure it was Alonso, he beat Alonso on pace.
Yeah.
But again, there's a lot of mitigating circumstances for that,
Yeah. But people have
running.
Yeah, people have massive raps on him anyway. Like within the paddock, a lot of people rate him. So,
he's an F2 champion.
Yeah.
From 2022.
Yeah.
So he knows how to win. That's the thing. A lot of people have said that he's one of the best drivers out there currently.
Not in a
within,
seat.
you could say, from the reserve seats of all the teams. That perhaps deserves a proper chance. Naturally, I'd love to see Drugovich get an opportunity. I think he realistically is the one to go to.
Yeah.
Bottas is an interesting name thrown into the ring, but yeah, I think it's probably highly unlikely.
Yeah.
But yeah, Drogo, I think maybe his opportunity is coming.
Time will tell, and we'll have to wait and see. At the moment, it's purely speculation, and that's why we're putting it out to you guys. We want to hear your comments. Should he stay? Should he go? The wrist injury, is it legit? Is it not? Is this all just smoke and mirrors? We'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts. So until then, we'll catch you in the next one.